All right, we back in the building with Chuck D.
Yeah, I'm gonna save myself for that Catfish Station tomorrow.
That'll work. That'll work. Look here, man. We got some questions from our listeners on Facebook Live, our viewers on Facebook Live, and one of these questions comes from Mark Durbin. He says, "Is there a new Public Enemy album in the world?" Man, I asked y'all for some unique questions, man. That ain't unique.
You go to publicenemy.com and see everything. We've been distributing music across the internet since 1998. Publicenemy.com will tell you everything. We released the album last year that was highly acclaimed, and we toured the world as PE. We hit 750,000 people as Public Enemy this year. Then I moved over to Prophets of Rage and hitting another 700,000 by the time this is all over and done. Mm-hmm. So that's over 1 million people this year just with Prophets of Rage and Public Enemy. But I couldn't do the Bo Jackson all the time, so now I'm in the Prophets of Rage mode, and that's Be Real of Cypress Hill. Tim Comerford, Brad Wilk, and Tom Morello of Rage Against the Machine, and myself and DJ Lord from Public Enemy. So, yeah, albums always come out. But, we're in a different day and age, man. If you feel it, record it, and make it available as a song. Mm-hmm. And that's where we at. And everybody wants to check out the Spotify or Pandora or Apple Music. And we have RCS where you go and check out the album. So rcsmusic.com. And also publicenemy.com and Spit Digital, where we also set people up to do their own labels, and Rap Station, where we play and support over 1,000 artists from past, present, and future.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so Robert Childs wants to know, how do you feel about the direction that hip-hop is going in right now with the new school?
I think that every generation got its own thing.
Okay.
And if every generation got its own thing, then they got to know that their number one obligation is to satisfy their audience. I think what's missing, I think we need more groups. I'm a fan of a soloist if you already prove yourself in a group.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Because when you look at a group, there's just different dynamics to hold your attention in a crowd. And then, of course, like in cases like yourself, I mean, you came in as a soloist, but you're part of a group and also a soloist. So that you got a backlog that people pay attention to, and you're a legend. But I think a new artist, when they come in thinking they can handle it all by themselves immediately, I just think we need more groups out there. I think we need more women to be acknowledged in the hip-hop game because they out there. So we do all that on Rap Station. So we cover the past, present, and future beautifully because we understand that there's a difference between the classics and also the new gens. Right. And the new gens got their own way. So somebody tell me and say, well, they call it mumble rap. But I said, man, this song's from the 60s. I still don't know the title of the song, and I still don't know what they're singing.
Right.
I mean, this song's from the 60s, man. I listen to every day, and I still don't know the name of the song, and I don't know what the hell they're saying. And it don't matter. I feel good when I hear it. So when somebody said, well, they hearing this song by this new artist, they don't get what they're saying, I'm like saying, well, give it a chance. If it relates to you, let it marinate. I think there's accountability and responsibility for artists to their fans. Because my thing is this, and this is the bottom line, Will. If you got these fans through your video, through your social media, I call SockMed, through whatever reason, then your job is to turn them fans out. If you can't turn your fans out, then there's a problem. You just can't just be up in there and just say, oh, we're going to just do what we got to do or whatever. You got to turn the people that follow you out to make them believe.
Yeah. That's a very good point because I'm going to tell you this. I remember I did this song called Go Back to School.
Yeah.
Right on this was my second solo album. And radio station didn't play it. And my fans in particular didn't go buy it.
Right.
They didn't buy the song.
Right.
So a lot of people were like, you need to do something for the kids, do something for the children.
And you already did it.
Yeah, exactly. I did it.
But see,
exactly.
But when you perform it, see, not everything is just supposed to be like, I recorded it and you go get it. When they see you, then you are the personification of that song anyway. And that is where it came from back in the day. I mean, people didn't go out and buy records. They had to say, I support this artist because when I see them, they got such exuberance about themselves, they turn me out. Oh, by the way, they got a record too. I'll support that on GP.
Right.
It didn't go around, and then it got twisted in the '80s where somebody would make a record, then all of a sudden you're supposed to support them live. It used to be like, when you go to a spot, you got something to do with your time. You go to a spot, and this artist is turning it out, and then you like, oh, by the way, we got the record you could take home and tell folks to come check this show out.
Right.
And that's where it came from. So I think we're going back to that essence because who can't make a record right now?
Right.
But can you actually turn an audience out? I mean, Will, I remember when he came, we was playing the Warehouse down here, and Will had a song called I'll Beat Your Ass. and people were just staring at it, and they said, yeah, that's Willie D.
Right.
So you're the personification of the song. The song is not just the personification of you. I mean, it's like it comes out of you. So you got to turn the audience out. You got to make them believers of something.
That's true.
And you as an MC. Look, I tell everybody, Public Enemy were Willie D fans before anybody else on the planet were Willie D fans. So we had the first tape played, and everybody played and had favorites on your first solo tape before even getting into Ghetto Boys. And it was like the #1 tape on our bus in 1988.
Right.
So, there's something about the character that makes you want to gravitate to an artist, not just because they did a recording. Anybody make a recording now.
Yeah, and I want to thank you too, man, because you guys were like the first cats out of New York to embrace us, and particularly you. You know, man, like you was like, hey man, y'all come on, man, and also giving up the game. Like, man, this how y'all do it, man. Man, fuck them motherfuckers, man. Don't nobody from New York fuck with them anyway. They from New York, nobody even fuck with them. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. Like it was certain people from New York that had a little chip on their shoulder. Just was simply because we was from the South. I mean,
there's a lot of that bias going on. We were from Long Island, so we understood what that was about.
This is like some slave type mentality shit.
House versus the field.
Yeah, it was one of those type of situations. So I but I was like fuck them anyway. But it was nice to hear you say fuck them too. I was like hell yeah. That let me know how real you was. And I remember you was one of the first. I don't know if you was the first, but I know you was the first hip hop artist that I saw. The group to list damn near everybody in hip hop in your credits.
Yeah.
That was some super cool shit.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of bias going on at that time, and we would travel and we would see guys like y'all turn the place out or open up. And I said, this needs to be acknowledged, and there'll be no way in hell that somebody in New York would play an artist from anywhere else and people start believing that. And the same thing that happened to LA. So ourselves and Ice-T on the West wanted to be able to embrace, all the rap activity that was happening everywhere else. Because when you go into somebody's home, you go there with respect, man. You don't just be tramping through somebody's home with mud on your shoes. You gotta be, may I come in, please?
Right.
So when we had the attitude, whatever city we came in, that we had to ask for an invitation. Yeah, all right, we playing in the city and people supposed to come, but it ain't no automatic thing. Are we allowed to come in? If we allowed to come in, then what's the next thing? Well, can we actually see if some of the light that we getting could go to the artist that's already been doing it here? Because we don't want to interfere.
Right.
And then if we build a kinship, can we help y'all get to places you can't get to? And can we actually open y'all up to enjoy some of the places we get? And when Ghetto Boys could go to Richmond, Virginia, and the Richmond, Virginia artists could go to Houston. That's what it's all about. That's what them ball players be doing. So we could do the same. I mean, that's how it used to be. The troubling thing also today is that you don't see the acts really play together well. They kind of like got their own little individual things. And back in the day, we all played together well, and no matter what our difference, we really primarily we black males. So we tried to knock that down. We ain't got no difference other than where we just bought and raised up.
Yeah,
But
geographically,
today it's really funny because the agents, just like they do in sports, do a job at separating the artists. So you never see a Drake or Rick Ross and a, let's say Wiz Khalifa together, and then you see the artists from the regions come in there, and you don't see a lot of that. And I think that's the thing that they got to work on.
Right. Okay.
You know.
So Robert Childs snuck a second question in. He said, "How is your relationship with Flav?"
You know, we all got a flavor in our family.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
All right.
So it's just like in our family.
Flav was just here. Flav was here like a month ago. Came down and hosted something over at Warehouse Live for Branzil.
He was there?
His godson.
Yeah.
I wasn't here because I was out of town. But
That's right.
I heard
Brandon
about
is
it.
in town. And then also Griff was here last week.
Yeah, I interviewed Griff.
Okay, yeah, we're a family, man. So,
Yeah.
you know, we're families that's together 30, 35 years. You know, they always your brother.
Right.
We worked together. Like I said, we was in front of a lot of people this year.
Right.
And, you know, like the flavor's always going to be flavor. Now, you don't need two flavors.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure, like, whether you saw Bushwick Bill last week or 10 years ago, so people going to be asking you about Bush.
Yeah, man. I'm going to go into this next question with that one, man.
He said, let's go into the next one.
How do you feel? This is what not Robert Childs. This is what Chris Cunningham said on my Facebook Live. He said, "What is the unifying factor for the black community due to all that is going on?"
Unifying factor that we need to do?
He said what he's saying is that, I guess he's saying, what do we need to do? What would unify us?
One thing that
Do that-
unifies
do
us
this
is like
all
we
going
all
on.
we all could get a passport just to get one symbolically, because I think that's an easy route to do. Now somebody said getting the passport, suppose you can't get out of your town. Just symbolically spend the $60 or the $70, get a passport, and then you start to see some of the hypocrisy in the United States of America trying to not let us be free people to the world.
Mm-hmm.
But I think symbolically, if we all just got a passport, you'll see a whole bunch of crazy shit. Amber Alert.
I think they'll
Like,
start,
it'd be-
raising the price and
yeah,
stuff too,
it'd
or
be
doing,
crazy.
making it harder to get it.
It'll be crazy.
Yeah.
It's harder to get it now.
Right.
Which means, like, look, if we don't open ourselves to the rest of the world and say we world earthicans and we deserve to be everywhere as we are,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't recognize that, then we can't be just slaves here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying symbolically, it's a gesture to make us understand that we're not limited. Then, okay, what can we do? Well, you know, that's the beginning of knowledge of self. If you ain't got no knowledge of self, you can't begin anything.
This is what I want to ask, man. I tell you what, this is one of the reasons why I was so excited to get you on the show, man, because I know I'm gonna get some insight. This is one of the things I got an issue with.
Just one of the things.
It's one of the things. America going into Africa starting wars. You know, what's your take on that?
Been happening.
Yeah.
Look, man, when they talk about devil, right, you talking about believers of a system that just contribute deeds of evil, meaning that anywhere that they done went into as a believer of their philosophy and a people, the ubiquitous those that believe in that, and they could be green or purple, but you know, usually it's black is the hate that hate produce anyway. So those that believe in that they ain't never left a place better than how they found it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bottom line of anything you do. Go into something, you leave it better than how you found it. But with takeovers, snatching a sense of self and definition and rights to the planet like anybody else should have, why would we be surprised with starting wars in Africa or any other place? Mm-hmm. That's been the philosophy of the white supremacy in the Western world anyway.
Right.
You will serve, at the end of the day, you will serve me. You will look at me as your king and your God. And there's a lot of testosterone up in there. So no matter how many images they throw up there in symbolic situations, like be it President Obama, who I think is a good dude, but you know, he's in a crazy seat,
Right.
of course, right? And then they say, okay, you got the first the first woman president coming on. These are images just to get people distracted. You still got to have a sense of self and who you are. And then before you start thinking about changing the world, you got to change your head first. You can't change your crib. How you going to change the world?
Yeah.
There cats out there talking about change. That's it. You can't change your crib. You change your crib. You change your block. Maybe you could change your region and your town, and like-minded could create change and change for the betterment, because you really not here for self. You here for the seeds that come after you, and that's how it's supposed to be.
Right.
But don't get it twisted. When you cross the 50-yard line, yeah, we fortunate, right? We fortunate as black men. But then again, the truth is that we have more yesterdays than tomorrow. She better get it popping. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, when I look at America in this situation with Africa,
United States of America.
Yeah, the United States.
Because Americans got the United States of, I call them USAers. They got the audacity to think that this is America, and they don't even count Canada and Mexico.
Exactly. Right.
And talking about building a goddamn wall
yeah.
between Texas, California, New Mexico, and California, when you had a president that celebrated in the late 80s called Reagan, talking about Mr. Gorbachev tear down this wall.
Now they want to build a wall.
What the fuck you talking about, man?
Yeah. That's why it's the double standard, man. Yeah. It's the
hypocrisy. The devil standard.
It's the devil standard. It's the devil standard, man. It's the hypocrisy, man.
You want to get get somebody on their heels?
Yeah.
Bring up devil.
Yeah.
Right. And devil is that when you hold up the mirror, it's deeds of evil that have been perpetuated on the people's poor righteous teachers and the people of the planet.
Right.
Deeds of evil. That means you straight out devil.
Right. Well, I look at the situation in Africa. I know when the Libya in particular haunts me when I think about that, because I wasn't vocal enough, and I guess I don't know what was going on in my life at the time, but I just was not up on Gaddafi enough. I wasn't really up on him enough. By the time I found out really what he was about, they was on the hunt to kill him.
Yeah.
Man.
And when they invited him down to the United Nations, we were there that day. Me, Griff, Brother James, we was all there that day, invited by Brother Akbar from the Nation of Islam, and down there in New York that day, where they allowed Gaddafi to talk on and on and on and on, and we knew right then they said they're gonna knock him off.
Right. Yeah, what's interesting is that all of America's enemies were once their friends. All of our enemies were once our friends. It's like it's weird, but
I don't even know what that means. I mean, not even friends. You mean the offspring, like the Bin Laden situation. Now you're beyond a friend. You create that. It's a big game. But I'm saying that the game is so complex, and we have teachers out there. And we have people out there that tell you that a conspiracy theory could be raised to factual truth if you're deep enough to swim in that. But the bottom line, you still got to figure out, you and yours, how you breathe, how you eat, who put clothes on your kids and your family back or keep heat or cool up in your crib. I mean, those are the bottom line. Those are the things that we have to fight for. And if you ain't got a voice, then understand when the ones that do got a voice, then let them speak and don't be hating on what you disagree with.
Right.
Because we human beings. We ain't supposed to be robots and agree every nuance of the percentiles.
You know one of the things that I hate when people say, man, I like what you're doing. I don't agree with everything you say.
Yeah, right.
You ain't supposed to, asshole.
Exactly. We ain't robots.
Why do people have to preference their support of you with? I don't agree with everything you say.
Because it's the back way out. It's the back way out of not making a commitment. Now you disagree on that. It's like it's like fish, like catfish. Or whatever fish. You eat what's edible and you throw the bones away.
Right.
The bones are inconsequential. It's irrelevant. In the conversation, what you disagree with, unless you're on a platform to disagree, and you got to have some reasons for that. I mean, come on, we all got to live on the planet together. The reason we in the trouble that we in because there's a philosophy that say we shouldn't even be here living on the world together. We should be enslaved working for somebody who wants to live their best on the world together. You got 1% that control like damn near like 90% of everything.
Right.
I mean, I'm a philosopher that says I believe that 1% should be jacked.
Hell yeah, we need to jack their asses. Y'all, let's get together. The 99%, let's mob up and roll on the 1% and get that damn money from their ass and evenly distribute it. Let's get the bread.
But understand that 1% has a body of philosophy also embedded in them that says that they are the masters.
They can't do nothing.
No, they are masters at killing. They are masters at killing.
They are masters at killing, but they also have that. They also have the 99% brainwash that they are powerless. And
Exactly.
we're going to continue to have this discussion when we come right back. Checking out Willie D Live.